Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike the intern and his most dearest Valentine, Ned Reynolds, in the studio, figuratively speaking, this morning. Don't worry, the flowers and chocolates are on their way, okay? So I didn't forget about you. Normally I can give you that and a bunch of whiskey in person, but I had to pay for someone to deliver it to you. But you know what? That's what love's all about.
Let's do away with the hearts and the flowers and all that and concentrate on the latter.
Well, I put that in there too, but I also got to show you how much you truly mean to me, Ned.
You're very nice.
Anyway, now that we got that out of the way, Aaron Rodgers, we haven't got a chance to talk about him and the great experiment in New York. You think he's going to land somewhere else?
That's a really good question. I don't think there was any question the Jets were done with him. He was there for 2 years, and of course the first year he was injured, but he didn't do anything last year, and he was the subject of controversy and all that sort of thing, as you knew he would be in New York City. Well, the Jets, I think they have their sights set on higher things. They're going through, or will attempt to, through the draft, a youth movement of some sort. So they cut him. They cut him yesterday. It's hardly a surprise. Will he play again? Who knows? I think he probably has the ego where he wants to give it a try. Rodgers is in his early 40s now, but I think he still feels that he can contribute to some team, and there are some that could give him a shot. Pittsburgh Steelers, for instance, they have Russell Wilson still there, but Wilson and Rodgers, that might be a pretty good combo. Who knows? But I think he probably is going to give it a shot at least for one more year, I would think. But we'll certainly find that out in the future.
Definitely will. And again, it's crazy to think that we just ended this season. Now we're already starting to think about the draft, which is about 2 months away. So in my opinion, the Kansas City Chiefs can use every single draft pick they can get. And they will be, 31st?
They are 31st. They will draft initially 31st, unless, of course, there's some kind of a big trade of some sort. But yeah, this is a really important trade for Kansas City. Not that they need all that many new players. I hear all the I put them the closet Chiefs fans. There's some, who during the course of the season, they're all of a sudden they're experts when it comes to the Super Bowl and that sort of thing. Well, the Chiefs don't need that many new players. They're a good team. They're a really good team. In fact, they're a championship team. But they do need help, and obviously the offensive line on the left side is one of them. I think that's where they concentrate on the draft, and young linemen, and really don't think that the Chiefs are in such great shape as far as purchasing free agents are concerned. They may lose some, but in terms of purchasing any with an $11 million salary cap, that's going to be a little bit difficult. But they're going to be all right. Kansas City's a good team, and I've mentioned this before, I wouldn't be at all surprised if next February they're out at Santa Clara, California, at Levi Stadium playing in the Super Bowl.
One can hope. I know that Patrick Mahomes has definitely got plenty of tackle and fuel now, so we'll see what happens, but definitely need to protect that man and get some help up front. That's where that battle is fought and won, and we saw that once again in another Super Bowl that we lost. At the West Coast Golf Tournament that has been changed, or at least its location is different this time around, they're getting a little bit of needed rain, aren't they?
This is really curious because the Genesis Open is to what you're making reference. And it's played at the Riviera Country Club in it's the Los Angeles Country Club, Riviera, and it's in Palisades. Well, they moved it this year. This is the tournament that's sponsored by Tiger Woods. He is not playing in it in deference to the passing of his mother. So, but they moved the tournament. They moved it because while the country club itself was not harmed initially in the fires, it was, in fact, it's surrounded by all sorts of damage, and the PGA didn't think this was a good idea to play it there. So it isn't. It's been moved down to Torrey Pines in La Jolla, California, in the San Diego area. So one weather event, fires, caused the move of the tournament. So yesterday, here comes what they call a Pacific River or something like that. All sorts of rain coming in there. They still got the first round in. And the first-round leader is Denny McCarthy with a round of 68. This is a pretty big tournament. Scotty Scheffler is playing in this one. He's 2 strokes back. But they'll try again in the dampness that is La Jolla, but to go from one extreme to the other, fires and dryness to lots of water, it's really strange.
And we are talking about women's college basketball, and we've got some pretty good action going on this weekend, don't we?
The Lady Bears were in Carbondale, Illinois last night. As a matter of fact, they've been there for the last 3 days. They thought there'd be a weather emergency, so they left for Carbondale ahead of time. Stayed down there and made it worthwhile by absolutely smashing Southern Illinois last night, 83-48. Now, the Lady Bears are pretty good. They're 19-5 overall on the year, 11 wins and 2 losses in the Missouri Valley Conference. They're a good team. Now, how good is the Missouri Valley Conference? That's the question. Lady Bears want to make that NCAA tournament, and I really think they have a great chance to do it. Of course, the winner of their tournament is an automatic qualifier. But I would love to see the Lady Bears in there. I know they deserve to be in there, but it's probably only a one-tournament team, so they've got a long way and a lot of wins to accomplish, and I think they can. They're a good team. 83-48 Lady Bears over Southern Illinois.
We already kind of went over this earlier this week. Normally during this time of the year, you'd have the NHL All-Star break, but now they've got a pretty cool little tournament involving 4 countries vying for the world's best.
I've got to admit, I really do like this concept. The National Hockey League put it together because this is the period of time they have the NHL All-Star Game, which is absolutely, totally meaningless, and the players don't really care. Well, the players are the ones who came up with this idea. They petitioned the NHL and said, why don't we put together a little break in the regular season and have a competition in which the NHL takes players from other countries. They're all NHL players. In fact, in many cases, their teammates playing against each other. But they all represent 4 nations. It's the United States, it's Canada, it is Sweden, and they all get in there and they play very hard. Finland is the 4th of the countries. Now, there's some folks the other day who said, wait a minute, what about Russia? They have a lot of players on there. The Russians were not invited to play in this thing because of the war in Ukraine. So they're ostracized. They are also ostracized from the Olympics, which will be next year. Anyway, this 4 Nations Cup, or actually they call it the 4 Nations Face-Off, is going on. It began a couple of days ago. USA team played their first match last night, played it in Montreal, played Finland, and the USA team won 6-1. Now, these are the USA National Hockey League pros against the Finns, all of whom are National Hockey League pros. It's a really interesting concept, bragging rights involved, and it all will end next week when they have the top teams that finished up playing for a championship. And I like it. I think it's a great idea.
I agree. Like I said, I think it's a pretty cool deal. Gives you kind of a feel of the Olympics when there isn't any happening. Last but not least, of course, the season ended on Sunday. But that don't mean Ned Talk's over. You go back to your regularly scheduled time, noon on Sunday.
Yeah, I and the gang will be on at 12 noon on Sunday, and we'll continue hopefully right through the rest of the year until the football season opens up again. Yeah, Ned Talk is kind of an interesting division in subject matter because during the course of anything beyond football, we talk about everything that goes on, and we get diverse opinions and so forth and so on. But then when football season, we precede the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, as you mentioned, season ended last Sunday, so now we're back to our regular schedule, 12 noon, right here on The Cave. We'll have Ned Talk, and certainly hope that everybody joins us.
Have a lovely Valentine's Day, my guy, and I'll see you on Monday.